Bryan DeNovellis back on another Tri-State College Basketball podcast. And this time, this episode, it brings us to the campus of NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology. And that means this guy right here, Grant Billmeier, the head coach of the men's basketball team, is in his first year as head coach of the Highlanders. Grant, it's been a long time. We go way back to your days at St. Pat's and Seton Hall, and I enjoyed those years talking to you, and now you're the head coach of NJIT. It's nice to see you again.
Yeah, great to see you as well, Brian. Yeah, those are great memories, my playing days at St. Pat's as well as my playing days at Seton Hall.
So I didn't get a chance to be there for your introductory press conference, but I saw how you did. You're happy, you're thrilled. It's been a crazy ride to get here. What sold you on this place?
You know what? I've obviously spent a lot of time in Newark playing at the Prudential Center, coming down here with my wife, going out to dinner, Fernando's, Forno's, Adega Grill, all the great restaurants here. But I had never been to NJIT, and then I had a great conversation. It was the day before we played West Virginia, Coach Huggins' last game in the NCAA tournament. I had great conversations with the athletic director, Lenny Kaplan, here. And then I came down here a week later for my interview, and I walked into this wellness and events center, and I was just blown away. I was like, this place is incredible. And then you look at all the success that Shaw had at St. Peter's, Fairleigh Dickinson had this past year, Princeton had this past year in the NCAA tournament. Mm-hmm. And you look at it and you kind of say, why can't it be done here? And it's home. Grew up my entire life in New Jersey. Both my kids were born in New Jersey, so even though they spent a little time in Maryland, we're a Jersey family through and through.
Yeah, Jersey guy. You could take the kid out of Jersey, but you can't take the Jersey out of the kid, right?
Exactly.
Right? And you're home again. You walk around this building. This is the first time I'm in this building, and I'm impressed myself. I mean, what's not to like about this? From the swimming to the practice courts to the arena itself. It seats about 3,500. Yeah. I mean, that's a state-of-the-art arena you're playing in.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we did a little morning, just kind of walk through, just trying to tighten up our offense a little bit this morning. And I just looked around with the bleachers out, and I'm like, man, this place is incredible. And if we can get it rocking and rolling here, this will be one of the best home court advantages in all mid-major college basketball.
I wouldn't disagree with you in the way it's kind of high and it's steep, so it's like the fans are on top of the arena, the court.
Yeah, and that's what I want it to be. I want it to be a great home court advantage, and I think with winning, I think we can start filling this place.
So the first time you're going to try to fill this place is Saturday. Yep. Let's try to get the word out about this, because what a great cause. You're teaming up with not only one Seton Hall alum in Shaheen Holloway in Seton Hall, but another Seton Hall alum, a legend in Jerry Walker, and all of the proceeds to that game, this charity game, 4 o'clock tip-off here at the campus of NJIT, all the proceeds go to benefit Team Walker, Jerry Walker's foundation for kids in Jersey City. Wow, this is a great cause.
Yeah, it is. And we scrimmaged John Dunn this past week, and I needed one more scrimmage. So I was talking to Shaw about a scrimmage, and then all these other teams, Illinois, I think it was Illinois and Kansas, they said, you know what, we're going to turn our scrimmage into an exhibition game. So I said to Shaw, what about doing an exhibition game? And I said, and here's the catch, what about coming here? I said, we have a bigger arena than Walsh. I said, and no one knows about it. He goes, well, what's in it for me? I said, well, you get to pick whatever charity you wanted to go to. And he said, all right, let me think about it. And a few days later, he said, Jerry Walker. He said, you're a Seton Hall grad. I'm a Seton Hall grad. Jerry's a Seton Hall grad. This would be 3, Seton Hall alums coming together for a great cause. Both teams get a chance to play against each other, get a chance to play in front of the crowd, put on uniforms. You get a much better feel for your team when you play in front of someone else with an actual crowd here. So it's a great game for everyone. It's a win-win for all programs involved.
So what does it cost for fans to come?
Tickets are cheap. Tickets are anywhere from $20 to $15. I think student tickets are going available tomorrow. So, and like I said, you mentioned all the proceeds are going to Jerry Walker's foundation. So, NJIT, Seton Hall, they're not walking away with a single penny.
Again, Seton Hall alums coming together. That's really cool, because not many major Division I programs will go to a team from, a smaller low major. So the fact that Seton Hall's coming here, it says a lot about what Shaheen's doing and the fact that he's willing to come here.
Yeah, you know what? Shaheen is very loyal, and not a lot of people would do that, especially if we hadn't played there first. But
right,
Shaheen is very loyal to his people and very loyal to the Seton Hall people. So when I threw this idea at him, normally you would get an absolutely not, but
right.
The fact that Shah said let me think about it, that meant a lot to me. And once he opened the door, I was able to squeeze my way in there and get this game done.
Well done. So I applaud you. I applaud Shaheen, and I'm sure Jerry Walker will be here as well in attendance, and I hope the fans come. It's a great cause, and it's a chance to see two local teams, a week before, 9 days before the regular season tips off on Monday. So a lot to talk about with your team, a lot to talk about where you're at with this roster. I'm going to backtrack a little bit, Coach. You just said you had a scrimmage against Marist, so you've played a scrimmage. What can you tell us about that closed-door scrimmage?
I can tell you, going into this scrimmage, I thought our defense was much further along than our offense. Coming away from that scrimmage, I think our offense is much further away than our defense. If you were to stick around and watch practice today, it would be a lot of defense. Our defense, guys gave great effort. We just have to clean up a lot of different areas in order for us to be successful and win games at the Division I level. But I'm really excited because the effort's there, the commitment's there. These guys are all ears and eyes. So now we just got to fine tune some things and keep this, keep improving.
Right, and every coach will tell you, they want to get better each and every day, and I get all that. And again, John Dunn was an assistant at Seton Hall. So when you were playing there, I believe.
For 3 years. So, yeah, we spent 3 years together.
So there's that connection there. There's that connection there. So well done. When you look at this roster, 11 new faces coming in, 9 freshmen.
Yeah.
All right. First of all, we're seeing this all over college basketball. We saw it at Iona with all of their players coming in, and Rick Pitino, Tobin Anderson at Iona, Rick Pitino at St. John. So it's not uncommon. But 9 freshmen is a lot. You brought in 2 transfers, graduate transfers from Manhattan.
Yeah.
And the players that were here on that roster. It sounds like a young team, Coach.
Yeah, you know what? It's a young team, but it's also a veteran team. So it's a very weird mix. So this past Saturday, I started 5th-year senior, 6-year senior, 6-year senior, 6-year senior, and then started a freshman.
Okay.
So and then a lot of freshmen came in off the bench. So it's a weird combination because like yesterday, I wanted to have a really hard practice because I thought my freshmen needed to have that. But then I also have those older guys where I can't burn them out, and then Saturday they're going to be limping into the gym. So I got to kind of split the 2 hairs between having a mixture of really old guys and a mixture of really young guys.
Okay, and obviously you're going to have interchangeable parts here and there. So who are the graduate seniors, the 6th-year seniors that you're really leaning on to, carry the team this year and lead the way for the guys?
Yeah. So one of them is Adam Hess. Adam Hess, tremendous shooter. Shot the ball above 40% last year from 3, double-digit scorer. So he's been, his ability to shoot the basketball, and I want to shoot a lot of threes, has been instrumental for our program. His ability to stretch the defense. He's a kid who's never seen a shot he doesn't like, and I never have to tell him to shoot the ball. He's always shot ready. Whenever he touches it, it's going up. Another kid, Mekhi Gray, he's dealing with a little bit of a knee injury, but hopefully we can get him back for opening night. He's a 6'6" wing, left-handed. I'm using him in a variety of different ways. Another kid is Kel DeGraff. Kel's a 6-year senior, a true NJIT kid going into his 6th year here. And another kid that's been, tremendous for me and my staff is a kid, Elijah Buchanan, who played at Manhattan College, was with Coach Storrs. Coach Storrs was the interim head coach last year at Manhattan, so he came over along with them.
So, okay. So are these guys, capable of shooting? You can never have enough shooters. Do you have that stable here?
Yeah, I think so. I think we're a very good shooting team, and now it's just trying to learn how we can all play with one another. I think we're a great shooter when we get the ball moving and the ball has great energy. When we're trying to do it individually, then we're not a great shooting team. But from where we started in practice, September 26th, to where we are now, almost a month later, we made tremendous strides as a team and as a program.
What is it like for you, this first month of practice, and you're getting ready to be a head coach at the Division I level for the first time? What's been going through your mind, number one, and what have you expected that's been the same, and what's been different since you've been a head coach?
I think as a head coach, practice goes by like that. When you're an assistant, sometimes practice can drag a little bit, especially when it's not your scout. But when you're a head coach, that 2 hours and 15 minutes literally feels like 45 minutes. And
wow.
Every day as a head coach, you have to be overly planned for practice. As an assistant, you come in, the head coach gives you certain responsibilities, work with the big guys, put in this play, go over, this team's 4 underneath out of bounds plays. But as a head coach, you have to be detailed and organized, not just for yourself, but every member of your staff, and to make sure they know everything that the players are doing, and everything has to run smoothly. So as a head coach, every day feels like game day.
Listen, it's good that it feels like the practice goes quickly. That's good, and that practices aren't dragging. So you're doing your job. I mean, you're a GM of everything. You're a GM of the players, the coaches. That's cool.
Yeah.
So the coaches that you have played for, I mean, winning coaches, Hall of Fame coaches in some place, successful coaches. I'm going to go back to the days of St. Pat's under Kevin Boyle, to playing for Lewis Orr at Seton Hall. As a coach, assistant coach under Kevin Willard for 8 years.
12
altogether.
11 at Seton Hall, 1 at Maryland.
Wow. Okay, so I miscalculated that. I mean, so let's take them one by one.
I think you missed the first 4 years where I was director of basketball operations. So it wasn't a true assistant coach. So that's probably where we missed 4 years.
I went from 7. That's where I missed, and you went to 11, right?
Yeah.
7 to 11 overall at Seton Hall. Thank you. So, what do you take from each one by one? Let's start with Coach Boyle.
His passion and how detailed he was, and how he got everyone to play the game at such a competitive level. New Jersey high school, when I was there at St. Patrick's, obviously I played for a great coach in Kevin Boyle. You had Coach Hurley in Jersey City, and you had Danny Hurley in Newark. So every practice, you were trying to beat those guys. We were talking about beating St. Anthony's, a game that would be played in March, in July. Like, that's how every practice felt. Like, he would say, like, you don't think those guys in Jersey City are working just as hard, or you think you're just going to get open on the wing? And the standard was we had to try to beat St. Anthony's. And he built everything up in order for that one game in March.
And it seemed like it was always that.
Yeah,
that game.
yeah.
And playing St. Benedict's as well. Even though they were in a different kind of a grouping with the NJSIAA, you guys played all this great competition.
Yeah, and those St. Benedict's games were crazy. I mean, I remember the first year Coach Hurley was the head coach of St. Benedict's. We played them at the Rexplex in Elizabeth, and we had like the guys skateboarding in the background. I think we came out victorious then in the double overtime. That was a wild game. In the following year, we played them at the Dunn Center in Elizabeth in front of a sold-out crowd when they had Jarrett Smith and Bashir Mason, now the coach in St. Peter's.
Right.
That was also a very highly competitive game. But those high school days, they were great, man. So many great memories, still very close. Mike Nardi, who's now the top assistant at Villanova, best men in each other's weddings. So I have, relationships that I'm taking away from there that will last me a lifetime.
No doubt. Many great memories. High-level games. I remember watching so many of those games, and just, those guys went on to play not only at the collegiate level, but at the NBA level. It just told you how the talent level was at that time.
Yeah, and I mean, Kevin Boyle, Bob Hurley, Dan Hurley, the fact that those guys were all within 15 minutes, I don't know if you'll ever see those three good of a coaches within a 15-minute radius ever again in the history of high school basketball.
That's well said.
You got Coach
Hurley, your mind around that.
who I think you can say, most people say, the greatest high school coach of all time. You got Coach Boyle, who's won 7 national championships and will soon be a Hall of Fame coach. And then you got Danny Hurley just came off a national championship. The fact that you have those three guys, one in Elizabeth, one in Newark, one in Jersey City, you're never going to see that again anywhere in high school basketball.
I don't disagree.
It's kind of like having Coach K, Jim Valvano, and Dean Smith within the triangle in North Carolina. It's kind of like that from a high school basketball standpoint.
That's pretty cool.
Very.
That's pretty cool. You also played for a coach in Coach Orr, who was very successful at Seton Hall, and brought things from a different perspective and maybe the level of intensity than Kevin Boyle did. Mm-hmm. What did you learn from him?
Man, Coach Orr is one of the, God rest his soul, just an unbelievable person, man. And the one thing I love about Coach Orr, he was loyal and stayed true to what he believed in until the very end. So him and the administration wasn't on the same page with certain things, but he stayed loyal to his staff, and he said it's either all of us or none of us. And his loyalty to his staff and his players are second to none.
There's one thing about him. He always stayed true to who he was.
Absolutely. Win or loss, he praised God, and he said, this is what we're going to do. This is what we're going to be about. And he never deviated for anyone. You
can't take those two NCAA tournaments away. 04, 06.
Absolutely.
And lastly, with Kevin Willard, you spent so much time under him. How did he shape you, and what do you take from him?
Coach Willard taught me the business, taught me how to run a college basketball program. And to be honest with you, when you're trying to get into college basketball, you really have no idea what you're getting yourselves into, the hours, the commitment, the level of detail. And I was just very fortunate that I got on with a really good guy, because there's other people just as talented as me, could be very well be sitting on this seat, that got on someone else's staff, and that person didn't lead the program the right way. One thing about Coach Willard is every single day he leads his program like a CEO, where he's the first one in the building, he's the last one in the building. There'll be a random Saturday in July, and he'll be in the back cleaning out the storage room in the locker room, because every little detail to him was important. And I try to replicate the way he runs, whether it's Seton Hall or Maryland, to run my program the same exact way.
So Kevin Willard, in this day and age, still wears the suit and tie. So many coaches have gone to the casual look.
Yeah.
What is the look of Grant Billmeier on the sidelines? And his staff, of course.
Yeah, so when we're at home, we're going to wear suit and ties. The way I look at it, if my athletic director or my president, if they wear suits to work every day, well, then when people come to see me and see our team perform in our building, then we're going to wear suit and tie. And then I think on the road, I think you should do what the visiting team does. I think it looks a little silly if we're playing, you're the head coach at American East School, and you're wearing a suit and tie, and then for us to wear sweatsuits, or vice versa. I think we should be matching. But what we do at home is what we're going to do at home. When we're on the road, we're going to try and copy what the other team does. Just because I think it looks a little crazy, like you mentioned, Coach Willard wears suits, and then you got another team that's sitting down there in a 3/4 zip and a pair of track sweatpants. I think that looks a little crazy. So I'd like it to try to be universal on the road, but when we're at home, I think because we are public figures on this campus, we should dress and act that way.
I like it. Image is everything.
Absolutely.
And it doesn't make you a better coach, but there's something about it.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
The way you present yourself, Coach. So let's talk about the preseason predictions. You're taking over a program that hasn't had a winning season I think they've had 4 straight losing seasons overall. No place to go but up for this program. You're in a very challenging conference, a conference that's been dominated by University of Vermont. I believe they've won 7 straight America East championships. UMass Lowell is right there. Conference is very good. How do you begin to prepare this team to win and try to climb the ladder in the America East?
Yeah, I think the first thing I wanted to do before we got worried about our offense or our defense or our press or our zone, let's come up with an identity. Like if you walk into our practice at any time, you should be able to say, this is what this program stands for. And I want it to be a loud gym. Guys are always talking. Guys are always running on and off the court. We have a tremendous amount of passion and excitement. So that's the first thing. When I kind of took the job over in the spring, the energy in the gym was dead. And I think if you came from April to today, I think it's been a complete 180. And these guys have been completely bought in and have worked extremely hard.
So what are your expectations for the team this year? That's what people want to know. You probably have something in mind. What are your goals?
I just want to compete at the highest level. And when we get into mid-February, I want our practices in mid-February to look like how they look like today. I'm not a guy that sets the bar on, I want to win X amount of games. It's year one, it's not about that. Year one is about setting our identity and who we want to be and what we want to stand for and not deviating from that. And then in terms of goals, we prepare for the next game as the biggest game. And then when we get done with that, then we move on to the next game. But the next game is always the biggest game, in my opinion, and we want to win each and every game we play.
So can I just look at the schedule, as a whole outside of the America East? University of Miami, Final Four team. What a way for you to start out your coaching career, going up against Jim Larinaga and Miami. There's Wake Forest on the schedule. You're not shying away from some big teams.
No, not at all. And if you know me, Brian, I've never been afraid of the competition. So I love the fact that, we're playing 2 ACC schools. We're playing Fordham, a local Atlantic 10 team, and then we're going to go down to George Mason and play against a good friend, Tony Skinn, who I worked with for 4 years, 3 at Seton Hall and 1 at the University of Maryland.
Yeah, you have relationships there. I'm seeing that pattern. And let's not forget your former teammate, Donald Copeland. You're playing Wagner, another local game, going to his place. So very cool the way your relationships have carried over into the coaching world and matching up against them.
Yeah, no, it is. I mean, it's like, I worked with Shaheen for 7 years. We're playing him first game, and then you mentioned Donald Copeland. We were teammates together 3 years playing him. Worked with Tony Skinn for 4 years playing them. I'm forgetting about one more. Oh, yeah, and we scrimmaged John Dunn this past weekend. And then Lavelle Sanders, who I didn't cross paths with, but is also a Seton alum. I'll play him twice because he's the head coach of the University of Binghamton. Right
in conference. So a lot of Seton Hall connections there. And, like you said, with Tony Skinn as well. So I applaud you, because a lot of times coaches won't do that and play their friends.
Yeah.
But it's brought you together on the court.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the great thing about playing a friend is they can tell you certain things about your team that you might not know. And that was a big takeaway from playing Marist and just getting on the phone with John Dunn and him telling me, I think you're really good in this area, then, you really stink in this area. And what's coming from a friend. There's no agenda. So that was really beneficial to me, and that's what, I want to keep continuing to scrimmage him.
Well said. So finally, Coach, as you're getting ready, what's going to go through your mind, when you talk to your team? I know we're about 2 weeks away. You probably haven't thought about it, but, when you're preparing that team to play against Miami, what's going to be going through your mind?
My biggest thing, Brian, is let's not get wrapped up in trying to be at our best today. Let's try and be at our best in February and March. So what I've been talking to our guys about, everything's a build up to the end of the season. And we want to go out there, and obviously we want to try and win every game. But the biggest thing to me is competing as hard, if not harder, than every team we play on every possession. And that's the end goal for me. And win, loss, or draw, competing at a high level, coming with the same attitude and energy every single day. That's my main focus going into every game.
Listen, you have prepared yourself extremely well over the years to put yourself in this position. You left a great job, a great position in Maryland to come back here and take a chance at a program that could be a sleeping giant in the America East. It certainly is a jewel of a campus.
Yeah.
And you have all the resources here to do well. So, Coach, I thank you for the time and wish you a lot of continued success this year. And I want to come to a home game and see how you guys play here.
Absolutely. Thanks, Brian. And look forward to seeing everybody on Saturday that can come out 4 p.m. You guys are going to be blown away when you walk in this building. And I'm looking forward for my players to get a chance to compete against Coach Holloway's team and see what it's like, playing against one of the best teams and one of the best coaches in the country. I'll see everybody here Saturday at 4 o'clock. Go Highlanders.
You will not be disappointed coming here. It is a jewel. We can see right out of these windows over here, and it's a very cool setup you have over here. I can't wait to see what the atmosphere is like here on Saturday. And Coach, good luck this year. We'll be talking to you very soon.
Yep. Thanks, Brian. Have a great day, man.
You too. And thank you for listening to our podcast, the Tri-State College Basketball Podcast. Of course, you can download it wherever you get your podcast, on Apple Podcast, on Spotify. Thank you for watching on YouTube. My YouTube channel, Bryan DeNovellis, the Tri-State College Basketball Podcast. 2 ways you can get the podcast through this year, audio and video. Tell your friends about it. Continue to spread the word as we continue to bring you the best of the coaches, players, teams, and the action right here in the Tri-State. Until next time, my name is Bryan DeNovellis. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching the Tri-State College Basketball Podcast. So long.